What if you wanted to start a pro-ISIS club at an American Ivy League university?
There's a lot of our student organizations that do things like that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry about the technical difficulty. Joining us now is Noah Rothman, associate editor of HotAir.com, former editor at Mediaite, although I don't think we need to mention that too much anymore. Noah, welcome. Tell me about this story that you have posted up there at HotAir.com about the National Guard soldier and his cousin. Here we go again, arrested trying to support ISIS.
Yeah, it's a very familiar story because we just recently had an American serviceman who was arrested allegedly attempting to flee the country and to join ISIS abroad. Apparently, this was more than just an aspiration to travel to Syria or Iraq or wherever he could have, probably crossing the Turkish border, and to join ISIS. There was apparently an effort here designed to attack military targets in Illinois. This gentleman and his cousin were arrested in Chicago attempting to hop on a plane, but apparently they were both interested in using their military uniforms and their membership, at least one of the individuals' membership in the National Guard, to infiltrate a base in Illinois and execute terrorist attacks against servicemen and women in the name of ISIS. So this is a very serious attack, according to the release by the Justice Department.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Equally as insane. I mean, you know, it depends on what they're saying, and we should have like a scale on how outraged are you. Every word that comes out of either Obama's mouth or the State Department people's mouth or the White House spokesman's mouth. But this was yesterday. Josh Earnest was asked this by Jonathan Karl about Yemen, and I want you to watch and listen.
But now that we have, essentially complete chaos in Yemen, does the White House still believe that Yemen is the model for counterterrorism strategy?
John, the White House does continue to believe that a successful counterterrorism strategy is one that will build up the capacity of the central government to have local fighters on the ground take the fight to extremists in their own country.
All right, he went on to give more of an answer, which led to Jonathan Karl saying, this is astounding that you're sticking by that the Yemen is a model. And we were chased, our special ops forces were chased out over the weekend from Yemen. Oh, are these people nuts?
Yeah, it's like a refusal to acknowledge unpleasant realities. It's very petulant and childlike. What the administration did when the Hadi government was deposed, essentially, from Sana'a in January, was approach the Houthi government with overtures of friendship and the effort to facilitate their ascension to power. All the Washington had in mind was perpetuating its drone war against AQAP in Yemen. They didn't care who was in charge in Sana'a. So the government went to a neighboring city on the coast, on the Red Sea coast, and established a government in exile. That government fell apart yesterday. The president fled the country, and that city was about to fall, which would have exposed the Houthis at this area, which is a key oil shipping lane. It's right where the Red Sea meets the Indian Ocean, and a lot of oil tankers go through there. That would have given Iran, these are Iran-linked militants, that would have given Iran access to this key oil shipping route where they could have mined, they could have used anti-ship missiles. This is something that the West would find absolutely unacceptable. So the Saudis, not having much of a military capability on their own, assembled a 10-nation coalition to intervene militarily against an Iranian-backed militia in Yemen. It's very destabilizing, and it's even more destabilizing when you think that the United States is engaged with Iran, facilitating Iranian military operations in Iraq against a Sunni militant.
Which leads to your piece from yesterday, I believe it was, and that is, in pursuit of a legacy, Obama has made the world more dangerous. And I got to say, Noah, I don't know if you wrote the headline, but that is an understatement.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you very much. I do agree. And we're really only focused in that particular part of the world. But this is a dynamic that is global in nature. It has everything to do with American retrenchment. Vacuums behave in very predictable ways. This is a matter of physics. You don't have to know a lot about these regions to understand that there's power plays to be made here by capitals which are securing their own interests and are securing zones of influence that are competing with one another. And the United States is attempting to play both sides of those issues with really shifting alliances that are just not moored in any sort of grand strategy or traditional alliances, traditional relationships with regional actors. It's just it's just directionless, and it's resulting in a lot of chaos that's very dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous. Let me finish up with Bowe Bergdahl here. I'd love your take. I mean, any other administration, any president would surely have egg on his face, be embarrassed, be regretful. I mean, you know, whether or not they admit it or not, but this administration is doubling down and saying we have no regrets. And I believe they're saying it because I got to tell you, Noah, I believe they have no regrets. Barack Obama had to know that what we knew at the time, or found out shortly after through the newspapers, that this guy had written those emails and sent letters home, and his father said, follow your conscience, the whole thing. And yet he feted the parents at the Rose Garden, and I believe he would do it again.
It's really hard to know what the administration was thinking. They had to know that all of this was going to come out at some point. They had to know that that National Security Advisor Susan Rice saying that Bergdahl served with honor and distinction was going to be proven demonstrably false. They had to know that this Rose Garden was going to look silly in a matter of time, but for really fleeting, really temporary political gain, and in order to shield the administration from criticism for illegally, according to the Government Accountability Office, illegally transferring Taliban prisoners back to the custody of suspect elements in Qatar, that they would elevate this one individual and try to make this rally around the flag moment. It's just inexplicable.
Noah, you know, Ralph Peters said Obama understands deserters. He doesn't understand someone who would join the military. Maybe that's the answer. Thank you, Noah. Appreciate it as always. Folks, up next, Democratic political consultant Hank Scheinkampf will be here. I think we'll be talking politics with Hank since he's a political consultant.